When my daughter Bridget was 6 years old, she asked me if Santa was friends with the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. I told her, yes, of course they're friends. And that's how the idea for the book, S.O.S. Save Old Santa, began. Bridget and I developed the story, and Rochester-based artist Peter Botsis contributed excellent illustrations. So it's a story rooted in friendship. It's about asking for help when you need it, and being able to accept help when it's offered.
Hello, I'm Therese Friel, former Miss USA. We met a wonderful gentleman named Paul Root, and along with the Stephen James Media Group and our models at the Therese Friel Modeling Agency, my husband Ken.
That's me, thank you.
We decided to take on a project together, and that's what you're going to see today. It's incredible. We hope you love it and feel like we're right in the living room, your living room, or you're in our living room. We're going to read you a story, a fabulous story.
Please enjoy this presentation by models and talent from the Mary Therese Friel Modeling Agency.
It is said that trouble comes in bunches, and Santa had a bunch of troubles right now. For one thing, the weather elf was predicting wicked weather for Christmas Eve. "What can I say, folks?" said the weather elf as Santa watched him on the television. "I don't even have a word for the type of storm that's coming, and we have 46 different words for snow here at the North Pole." Normally, Santa would depend on Rudolph to deal with the storm, but the famous reindeer had a sinus infection to beat the band. His nose glow wouldn't cut through a light frost for at least another month. Mrs. Claus had taken a spill and broken her ankle. She wasn't able to run the kitchen like she usually did. The cookies and pies and candy canes that she always made weren't available this year, and without his wife's treats, Santa wasn't as jolly as usual.
And it wasn't only the baked goods that lagged in production. The toy output was also down. These numbers are sad, Santa thought as he read over his latest reports. I may have to reduce every child's gift by one present. Such a shame when so many have worked so hard at being good all year long. The reason Santa's toy numbers were down was because his top two toy engineers, Benedict and Arnold, had been lured away by a new competitor named Free-for-all. Free-for-all wanted to take over Christmas from Santa. "You've done good work here, Benedict and Arnold," Free-for-all told his new employees. Santa brought his wife every meal while she recovered from her broken ankle. He pretended that he needed to cheer her up, but Mrs. Claus knew it was Santa who needed some cheering up. And as Christmas Eve approached nearer and nearer, she knew that he needed more than cheering up. He needed some help. "We should check with the other holiday heroes to see if they can lend a hand," she suggested. "I can't rely on others for a successful Christmas," Santa said. "It's my responsibility." "At least check the Naughty and Nice crystal ball to see what they're doing," Mrs. Claus urged.
"I'll check, that's all I'm promising," Santa said. He went into the room where the crystal ball was kept. The magical orb allowed him to see what everyone was up to at any given moment. Santa saw his old friend, the Easter Bunny, come into view inside of the mystical glass. "E.B. is having the time of his life at his family reunion," Santa called to his wife in the next room. "I can't ask him to leave that." "And the Tooth Fairy is working. That poor woman is at it 365 nights a year. She's already overworked."
Great Pumpkin is relaxing. He deserves the rest. It hasn't been 2 months since Halloween. And Thanksgiving turkey is still tuckered out from all the parades last month. It's just not right to impose. Mrs. Claus called back to Santa. "You're not imposing. You're just asking for a favor in the time of need. Why not check the St. Patty's leprechaun?" Santa was a bit surprised by the suggestion, but he gave it a try anyway. "Just as I suspected," Santa said upon seeing his old friend up to mischief. "The leprechaun always takes fun a little too far."
Meanwhile, Free-for-all was having a press conference, determined to trick as many kids as possible into signing up for his Christmas services. "So why should people choose your Christmas instead of Santa's?" a reporter asked. "Let me make this perfectly clear. I hold no ill will towards Santa," Free-for-all fibbed. I respect what he's done. He's a living legend. But even legends have to hang up their cleats sometime, or their stockings in this case. Times have changed. Santa is about yesterday. He's about cold. He's about old. And he's about to fold. I'm hearing reports that Santa won't be able to meet gift demand this year, and that he won't be able to handle the weather that's predicted. I don't know if that's true, but I do know this. The main difference between Santa and me is that Big Red is judgmental. All his I know who's naughty and nice nonsense, free-for-all, is about a worry-free Christmas. You made a few mistakes during the year? Don't sweat it. Want the newest violent computer game that Santa won't deliver? I've got you covered. Bruised a few feelings over the past 12 months? No problem. Maybe you're a kid who just enjoys troublemaking. Well, more power to you. I've been there. You have a home with free-for-all. Everybody, naughty and nice, nice and naughty, we don't punish you for the content of your character. Now go to www.freeforall.biz and you will be hooked up on December 25th. Guaranteed, no strings attached.
As Free-for-all left the press conference with his devious website designer Keystrokes by his side, he asked his computer crony, "How's the website coming along? All the strings attached?" "They sure are," answered Keystrokes. "As long as we deliver what we promise this first year, everyone who signs up with us is locked into buying Christmas presents from us for the next 10 years. Santa was running out of time. Christmas was only days away, and millions had signed up with Free-for-all. Santa shook his head and said out loud to himself, "Maybe I am too old. Maybe I should concede." "Concede?" a surprised Santa heard a voice say. It was the Easter Bunny. "Concede indeed," E.B. exclaimed. "Concede? No need," joined in the Thanksgiving turkey. "Concede over my dead seeds," said the great pumpkin. "Concede? But who shall lead?" asked the Tooth Fairy. "Concede Shamid," declared the leprechaun. Santa couldn't believe his eyes. The holiday heroes were here. "Why, that wife of mine," said Santa, although he was so happy he could kiss that wife of his at the moment. "Thank goodness that wife of yours had the common sense to call us," the Easter Bunny said in a scolding tone. "Now let's get busy," said the leprechaun. "We're here to help, not to freeze."
"Well, if you're here to help," said Santa as a spark returned to his eye and a smile to his lips, "then let's get this party started." Christmas Eve arrived and Free-for-all had his operation running smooth as silk. The presents were loaded into flying jet sleds and launched from Free-for-all's roof into the night air. Santa and the holiday heroes divided the work between them. The weather in the northern parts of the world was snowy and blustery, as predicted.
And there were some other problems too. The great pumpkin got stuck in the chimney, and a fire was started below him. "Oh no," thought the pumpkin. "I'm going to be pumpkin pie if I don't get out of here." But luckily, he did wriggle out. And as the night went on, he got better at sliding down the chimneys, using the technique Santa had taught him. The Tooth Fairy occasionally forgot that she was supposed to put the presents under the tree, and instead put them under pillows. The leprechaun was doing his best to behave and complete the deliveries Santa had assigned to him. But when he looked down from his shamrock sleigh, he saw a sight he couldn't resist. Free-for-all's headquarters. He landed on the roof and snuck inside of Free-for-all's building.
He happily made his way through the factory unseen, moving along the pipes near the ceiling. It didn't take him long before he found what he was looking for, the control room, where a pair of workers matched the gift orders with the correct child's photograph and fed the information into the master computer. Before you could say, "Luck of the Irish," the leprechaun was making mulligan stew out of Free-for-all's operation. After sprinkling a wee bit of sleeping dust just to give the workers an instant nap, he took the stack of gift lists, the stack of photographs, and shuffled them up. When the workers woke up a few moments later, they had no idea what happened. They went back to their task, But now, none of the gift orders match the right child.
When children opened their presents on Christmas morning, many of those who had signed up with Free for All received unpleasant surprises. Free for All's attempt to take over Christmas was ruined. Angry parents around the world reported him as a fraud to the Better Business Bureau. Depressed and dejected, Free for All blamed Santa for his downfall. Free for All threw on a parka and drove one of his jet sleds to the North Pole. He arrived just as Santa and his reindeer were returning home. Free for All almost rammed his jet sled into Santa's sled. Santa had to make an emergency landing in the snow to avoid a crash.
"Where in blazes did you get your license?" Santa exclaimed. But then he realized who had almost bashed into him. "Oh, it's you," Santa sighed. "I should have known." "Known what?" Free for All snarled. "You have no idea who I am." With these words, the furious Free for All rushed at Santa. But Santa was a lot quicker than he looked, and he flipped Free for All right out of his shoes. Once Free for All was out of his platform heel shoes, something became clear. Free for All was really an elf. "I've always known who you were," Santa said. "Frankie Fremont. You could have been a great toy maker, but you never wanted to take responsibility for your actions or learn from your mistakes." "That's not true," Free for All, or Frankie, muttered. "You just never liked me." "I may not have liked some of the things you did," Santa said, "but I always liked you."
Why don't you come back and make toys for me again? You can build your skill back up and then maybe open up your own place when you're back on your feet. Free for All looked at Santa with stunned disbelief. "You mean," he uttered, "you'd have me again, even though I tried to ruin you?" "Ho, ho, ho," bellowed Santa. "You got me back on my toes. What do you say? Do you want to come back?" Sadly, Free for All had been angry and bitter for so long that he had forgotten how to give or accept kindness. "No," he snapped at Santa. "Someday I'll be the big cheese at Christmas. Someday I'll be you." Santa shook his head. "Don't you know, Frankie, that the only way you'll ever find happiness is just by being yourself?" But the confused elf wasn't listening. He jumped on his jet sled and flew away. "Good luck to you," Santa whispered. "You poor lost soul."
Santa had a special ceremony where he presented the North Pole Medal of Loyalty and Courage to the other holiday heroes. And the leprechaun received a second award, the Medal of Mighty Magical Mischief. After the award ceremony, Santa and the holiday heroes did their favorite thing in the world to do. They played with the children who had come to the North Pole for a visit. One of these children sat on Santa's lap and exclaimed, "Santa, you rule!" Instead of responding with a ho, 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 Santa answered with a no, no, no. The child looked surprised. Then Santa gently explained, "It is friendship that rules. Helping each other out is what rules." The child nodded in understanding, and this filled Santa with joy. And when Santa's filled with joy, he sounds like this. Ho, 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 ho.